Welcome to Above the Tape, an all-access FEVA podcast. We are going to do something a little bit different this episode, and we are going to split it up into two different parts, mainly because we went on for almost 2 hours. So, first of all, enjoy part one. Welcome to Above the Tape, an all-access FEVA podcast. My name is Davis Lauderdale, and I am your favorite director at Florida Elite Volleyball Academy, but more importantly, I am the host of this podcast. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, the lady who needed a week before she was ready to talk volleyball, and I still don't think she is. She is the head coach of our top 16s team, as well as a two-time conference coach of the year at Sun Lake High School. Please welcome Elise Zapata. What's up, Elise?
Good evening.
How are you?
You're right. I'm still not ready to talk volleyball, but I guess should I just jump right into it, or do you want me to wait?
Not yet. We gotta introduce our guest. She is making.
She's the woman.
Her first.
The legend.
She is joining us.
Amazing.
This is her first solo guest appearance on this podcast.
Yeah, she doesn't deserve to be on with anyone else. She deserves.
You are ruining my intro here. She is the head coach of our top 14s and 15s team, as well as the head coach of Strawberry Crest High School.
She's the reason
the
why
winner
we're
of
FEVA.
3 bids already this season. Please welcome Katia Saavedra.
Hello.
She's
Thank you for that introduction.
All right, guys. Remember once
I had to
again.
get myself in there. Davis he's gonna hate me because I'm gonna interrupt him every.
I wish I
Is
had
this how it goes on every time?
I'm gonna mute her in a minute. So remember once again, subscribe to wherever you listen to your podcast. While you're there, give us a 5-star review. If you give us any less than 5 stars, you are a hater. So before we get started, I got a joke.
Of course you do.
Okay. What do you call a bear with no teeth?
Furless.
A gummy bear.
I needed a little bit more time to think about that.
Yeah, I know.
I might have gotten that one.
I've already been traumatized because
you
she
don't give
guessed
us enough time to think about what the answer
But
would
the
be.
last time I gave her time and she guessed it right, and it ruined.
That's really good, though, right?
It ruined the entire
Thank
joke.
you.
It ruined
He
the
got
joke, and I
pissed 'cause I
did.
guessed
That was one of my
all.
favorites too.
Yeah.
That was too.
So anyway, today we're going to take a little break from our normal blame Davis for everything, including the weather, and we are going to go give you guys some really great behind-the-scenes insight on how we do things at FEVA. And of course, there's only really one person to bring in for that. We're going to kind of talk about what makes everything go here at FEVA. We're going to discuss a lot of things that I think is going to be really informative and hopefully interesting to our parents. We shall see.
The best part of this, Davis, is that we don't have to listen to you talk the whole time.
Correct. You're going to hear
I
Katia
hear
talk
people
a
say,
lot.
man, Davis just knows how to
Does
continue
not stop
talking. They said that on the podcast. They're like,
all
you guys need to interrupt him more. So that's to those parents that said that. That's why I interrupted him this whole time in the beginning, and I'm going to continue to do it when you continue to speak too much.
The feedback that I've been given is they are so mean to you on this podcast, and I don't know how you can deal with those crazy ladies, but anyway, everybody has their own perspective on things. So anyway, real quick, want to give a quick shout out to some of our teams that played this week. Congratulations to 11 Danny and 15 Michael.
Oh, they were so fun to watch.
For winning first place at the April Smash Fest.
11 Danny's team is the cutest
team
ever. And they're such little ballers. It's incredible.
I know. I've officially they're officially in sandbagger territory because they're winning almost every single
tournament.
Put
them in 12.
Yeah, we're going to have to put them in 12.
Just put them in 12.
Because they're rocking it up this year.
They're killing it.
Yeah.
When Danny tells me that, he's like, I called timeout, and I'm like, get it together. And they're like and then they go out there and he's like,
they're just so funny.
They just kill it.
There was one at March Mayhem where he called it. It was like the score was, they were playing some team and the score was like 18-2. The coach, called a timeout and he came over and he's like, girls, I don't really have anything to say. you guys are doing great.
I think only 2 can reach maybe fingertips over the net anyway.
Oh yeah. But
so, it's so cute.
Yeah, but they're
Let me tell you, there is times where I laugh and spit out my water there. Because there's times where like another team calls a timeout, I'm like, I'm speechless because I'm like, 1, I don't know why they're calling a timeout, or 2, like we're on a roll and they're doing everything great. It's like,
so what are you gonna say?
How do you say something to players that are doing everything?
You got this. Let's go.
You go, girl.
I'm like, keep doing this and keep doing that. It's not telling
Yeah.
them to do it again. It's
Yeah.
just reiterating.
No, we had a good tournament this weekend.
Yeah, and then of
Yeah.
course, Michael keeps destroying
Poor
Coach
Brianna.
Brianna's 15
Oh,
team's
Brianna.
dreams.
I just texted in the group chat. And I was
Yeah.
like, Coach Bree, can we
Well,
get it together?
let's-
Come
like
on.
the third time.
Let's not
I'm-
say destroying because they've
No,
gone to
just
three plenty of times.
destroying
Yeah.
their dreams, not destroying.
Yeah,
the games are.
They are
competitive.
battling it out.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Coach Brianna's team is getting better and better. So I really love watching them play.
Yeah.
Really, they've done an outstanding
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
But they are the 3s and 4s. You
Yeah.
know, at the end of the day, if Brianna was to beat Michael, she would be talking crap for the next 3 months.
Just
right?
like
I mean,
any
Michael can say I beat you, but
it.
you should.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Bree, I'm waiting for the day you can do that.
we believe in you, Bree.
I'm behind you 100%. I love Coach Michael. Michael, you're my guy. But my girl Bree needs to represent Sun Lake a little better than that. Okay.
I still maintain I do not like it all when our teams play each other.
No,
Oh,
and they played so much.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe having 20 teams at a tournament is
Maybe not a good
not
idea.
such a good idea. Let's put that in the
Put
note
a pin.
taking.
Put a pin in
Hey,
that.
Pin in that.
that
exactly.
just shows you FEVA's
I'm
on
just gonna
top,
add
baby.
it to my notes because
Yeah.
I have a little thing of notes
She
and
does.
everything. Every time that something happens, I'm like, oh, gotta change this. Oh, let's make sure we change this
Yep.
for next year.
It's just, but honestly, it's just showing that how FEVA's on top. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
that's how.
yeah,
it's,
but
hope
we
so.
don't want teams playing each other all the time in tournaments.
Yeah, we had.
but we
there was,
noted it
I
for
think it
next
was,
year.
I think it was 16s. We had 3 of the final 4. 3 of the 4 teams were FEVA teams. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, we're gonna win.
Yeah, so.
But
Yeah, I know.
and
Did
then-
you guys both go this weekend, or did Davis get the weekend off?
I went on Saturday. I did not go
Mm.
today.
We went Saturday. I took over for 14 David, which was so much fun. Such great kids.
I love
Giving you 1,000%
Yeah.
every single time, and you can see how their light bulb turns on. So
Yeah.
it was really fun because it's more of a coaching moment for me. I coach the ones team, so coaching David's team was definitely it's a different experience, but we really had a blast.
Yeah.
Really had a blast.
I actually really enjoy that team. I've actually kind of
They
spent
have
a lot of
so much personality.
spent a lot of time on
So
their
much
bench, and
personality, yes.
they're a lot of fun. So, and I got my first yellow card helping coach them. So I was really proud of that.
The
Even
one
though-
that doesn't coach gets
yeah,
a yellow
I
card.
got a yellow card. Anyway,
You drive me
and
nuts.
then kind of going on, 17 Savannah, 16 Michaela, 14 Jenna, and then of course 15 Brianna all came in second place. 16 Adara, 16 Lorenzo, and 13 Brittany all came in third place. So again, overall, good showing this weekend at the Field House in Winter Haven.
I was having a little FOMO not being out there.
It was fun. There were some good moments.
I
so.
did enjoy my weekend off, but
Did you? Oh, there was I don't want to say this, but there was a parent in the
Oh, I
stands
know
up
who you're
there.
talking about.
Holy cannoli! I will tell you what. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're
She
saying.
stood out. I don't think a single coach in that gym did not notice her. Holy cow!
Yeah.
So
I-
it was crazy.
I know. I heard the game got a little
Yes.
interesting today with
It-
her.
it was
And for
crazy.
those of you who don't know, the Field House, the fans are up top, so
Yep.
the parents sit up
Thank
top.
goodness
Yeah, I think
for this lady.
for this one, yeah.
Yes.
And then so it was pretty intense. I mean, on Saturday it was intense. The game that you coached with that one club where the two parents
Oh, yeah.
somehow two parents ended up on the floor in the opposite corners because they were there to keep the ball from rolling away, but they're like chest bumping and screaming back and forth during the middle of the game, and so
Yeah.
I got 'em
listen,
kicked out.
I'm not opposed to chest bumping, but you got to do it in the right element. You got to do it in the right
So I just
space.
went and I was like, okay, if this is the case, can we go ahead and bring our parents down here too? It was the gym was empty. It was the only game. I was like, we just bring our
So they're
parents
just
down
being
here.
unfair.
and then-
We were the last team
The last
playing
team.
last
Today.
night. Yes.
Which it is kind of silly when there's only one court. They really probably should let everybody down.
Yeah.
But you can't let two people and have one of them stand on our side and yelling and
100%.
screaming like a lunatic. You
I
can't do that.
agree.
So I title told, and I'm not ashamed to say it. That's too bad.
Davis will let you know when you're super right and when you're super wrong, as long as he feels that you're super right and super wrong.
I'm the
So
judge.
even if you're by the rule book and he feels like it's wrong, he'll argue it.
Listen, I'm all about learning the rules.
But
I had
good tournament. Good tournament.
good
That's fun.
tournament.
Overall. Yeah.
Elise, I'm going to tell you right now.
Let me hear it. Or you coming at me now? I'm ready for it.
And Katia's going to agree.
Uh-huh.
This would have been a rough one for you with the officiating. The officiating was
Oh, no,
there
don't
was
get
a
me
lot of
started.
like newer officials because and for whatever reason, and so there was a couple like we don't know the rules on this.
Mm.
And I also want to brag. I knew a rule that Katia didn't know.
Well, and you know, and we are
I wanna
not
There's
test
a
the
lot
going.
of rules.
I want to test Elise
Yeah.
first if she knows it.
Let me hear it.
Okay, U14.
Uh-huh.
All right, we're serving.
Yep.
Toss the serve,
You can't land it in the court.
catch the serve. Legal or illegal?
It's legal.
It is legal.
14 and under can catch and let it drop.
And 14.
It's when it
She
touches
thought it was
inside
15s.
the court that's an issue. If you guys didn't know that.
I don't.
So I thought it could let it drop, but not catch.
Yeah.
And you can do both.
you
Yeah.
can do both.
So we, of course, the referee did not know that rule, and we lost that point.
I want
And-
to protest.
and
so
so
bad.
Now you can't toss and it land in the court. Did you know that?
I did not.
I did not know that.
That's in play.
I did
Okay.
not know that. I'm
Is
gonna.
that
I'm
high
gonna.
school or USAV?
Ooh.
I
I'm gonna find
want to
out.
say
Yeah, I'm gonna
that
find
it's
out.
probably high school because
Yeah.
I honestly don't think that was even stated in
Yeah,
the rule book.
it wasn't. I don't think it was.
So-
She
yeah.
brought the rule book out for me because I was like, hey,
Mhm.
I will talk to the head ref. I'm like, hey, I
And
need
you know,
to know.
we got to give it to these referees. I mean, they do an awesome job. We don't have a lot of referees, obviously,
Yeah.
but it is
I
very
love the refs.
difficult when a coach knows the rule, the referee does not know the rule,
Mhm.
and they don't even allow you to protest or even have your child go up with them and talk. And I know there was 3 things on the rule. That was one of them.
Yeah.
One referee allowed an 18-year-old team to toss,
Mm-mm.
let it drop, and serve again.
I would have lose my crap.
Well,
I know.
the coach did lose her crap, and he just kept blowing the whistle.
Yeah.
The second rule
Mm.
was that
Exceptional sub.
the exceptional sub. So one of our setters on the 16 team got lightheaded, had to be removed, couldn't play anymore, and the referee told them that everybody else had gone in,
Yeah.
that the only player could be that sub was the libero, and forced
Oh,
the libero
my
to get
gosh.
out of the libero jersey and
Jeez
become the right
Louise,
side.
man.
And so we're like, no. So we had to go to the tournament director and the head official. And of course, by that time, you
The game
lost
was
your
over.
libero. We lost the game, no libero. And it's difficult,
It
you know?
is
So
difficult.
it's difficult
It's
when
frustrating.
we don't know the rules.
Correct.
Now, they don't call doubles, judgment
Whatever.
call.
Right.
They don't call it judgment call. They're all judgment
Listen,
calls, and we have to live with those.
Correct.
We get it. We
But
get
when
it.
the rules are
But-
the rules.
But the rules are the rules. And
Yeah.
we have to be able to know them.
You
And that's
know-
tough. That's tough. I think.
and I'm gonna interrupt. So before, when I was in postseason with the refs here locally for high school, a lot of them do club, but the head official came up to me and said, "Hey, I have a lot of new people that are trying to say from high school to club. Can we come in preseason and you guys do like a fake scrimmage between you and JV or you and varsity, whatever it is, and I can teach my people because we're trying to actually get them to know the rules because we're seeing a lot of the issues when now coaches, right, getting kicked out or yellow carded or red carded or whatever. Because in high school, you get red carded. It's not like club where you could just stay there.
Yeah.
Right?
You
No.
get kicked out.
You get kicked out.
Yeah.
You could get suspended. If it's around playoff time, if this is a game that's
Yeah.
in need, you could lose out on a playoff game. It's, it's wishy washy.
And I think that if we were a little bit more open-minded, coaches could be a little bit calmer, and
Correct.
referees could be a little bit more open-minded to getting feedback.
But
We
they're
could work
not.
together. But unfortunately, coaches are not calm, and we're
Uh-huh.
going to all admit that.
Yeah.
And then referees are not open
Correct.
to hear the rule or even look up the rule.
Correct.
So if
That's
you
my problem.
and that's difficult. If you are saying, look, please, this is not the rule. Can you please look the rule up before you dock me a point or tells me something, and it continues to happen, then it's hindering the sport.
100%.
And
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
And I'm at the point now where before even season starts, even before preseason, this is when they want to do it. It's like I will let 10, 12 schools come in and do an own scrimmage like on a Saturday. Like this is your time frame against your JV team. And it can't be against any other team, but it could be against your own JV team just for these refs to get the actual information.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, there is some high school coaches out there that they don't know what they're doing. So it helps them learn what the rule is and what's not. It helps
Yeah.
players learn the
I've
book.
always offered new high school coaches to come in and watch a practice
Yeah.
of mine.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
and
And I've had
some
referees
people are
ask me about rules, and
Yeah.
I've explained the rule as well.
correct. And like some people are like, I'm not going to let people see my practice, or I'm not going to let
Oh, I'm
X,
more
Y-
than willing to share. more
Listen,
than willing.
I'll sit down with you and coach you. I will sit down, answer your questions. I
We
will
have
sit down.
clinics. We have clinics. Remember
Yes.
Mole Renin? We have a Mole Renin middle school coach. He comes to every FEVA coach's clinic and he learns. And I'm happy to share everything.
Yeah.
What's the point of us coaching? For every kid to develop to the best way possible. If I can
100%.
share every knowledge,
100%.
every bit of knowledge I have with anybody else, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're from another club.
Mhm.
I will share it.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
anyway.
So
We're gonna be
anyway,
here all day if we
Yeah.
I
continue
know.
to go off topic.
At the end of the day, I think every high school coach would agree that if we can do anything to help these coaches or these reps
Yes.
get better, or coaches even, we're gonna do it. So
Yeah.
Sun Lake's open, Strawberry Crest is open,
Open,
FEVA's
always.
open as a whole. Like,
Yes.
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
we're
Absolutely.
gonna do it.
So before we kind of get started with a little bit of, like I said, some insider information here, want to talk a little bit about Chicago. I know Elise is not looking forward to this, but we have to go through it. So I'm going to start with Elise and her 16s team. Unfortunately, we did not get the results we wanted. They came in 5th place, one game
One
short,
game away.
one game short of
again.
earning a
One.
USA bid. So Elise, you can say what
And
you
what,
want.
one game away, 27-25 or 28-26?
26-24, I believe it was.
Yeah.
I thought it would be tied at 26-26.
It could have been. Yeah, you're right. It was 26-20.
So we lost
26-28.
28-26.
Yeah. Elise, anything you want to say, or you want us to take the floor? This is why we didn't have a podcast.
And again, my
earlier.
daughter is on that team, so I
Look,
suffer.
Like my
I
eyes are
suffer.
watering again. Like it's just I know my team, and I know my team could have won the game.
Yeah.
Just again, it's the things that you can control that they did not,
like serving.
like serving.
And I always tell them, right?
Communication.
What are 3 things that you can control?
Mm-hmm.
Serving, communication, and energy. Other than
Yeah.
that, you can't control anything else.
Yeah.
No.
You do not, and you cannot control what they do to you.
Correct.
You can only control what you do,
they
we were not able to
they
control
know that too. It's funny. You sit and talk to them, and they understand. They really do. It's
No.
just
They all have very high volleyball IQ.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
It's-
take.
I hate talking about this
I know.
because
And taking
I
that.
already said it. I told it to Danny too. I said we would have won that set. We would have won the game.
Yeah.
Like I just wish Saturday, right? It was a tournament, like I said, on Saturday we're just battling every point. We're doing what we have to do to get by because we know what we need to do on Sunday. And the girls did all of that on Friday and Saturday, right? And against our, like I said, our amazing competitors, our local rivals, they did their job. They did everything that they control. Their serves, their communication, and their serves. Right? Did I just
I
need to
think
say
you
it
said,
too?
you
I
said
said
serve twice, but it's okay.
communication.
It's okay because it's pretty
Serves are very
important.
important.
Yeah.
It came in really
That's
important.
PTSD right now.
Double down on it.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But those 3 things they controlled, and that's why they finished the game against a very good team.
So they came back because of their serves,
Correct.
and they couldn't close out because of their
On
serves.
Sunday. But
Yes.
like Saturday, they had all 3 of those things, and they're playing a team that is
really
as
good.
competitive as
Really
us.
good.
If not better.
They're a great
And
team.
I'm
Yeah.
never going to say that Tampa United is not a good team because they're freaking fantastic. They
Yeah.
make us work.
They're an amazing team.
They make
Absolutely.
us work for every point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we did our job on Saturday.
Yeah.
If we could have brought that momentum onto Sunday, because even game 1 on Saturday or Sunday was a struggle. Like it was game point, and we're still struggling to get our serves in. That
Yeah.
cannot happen.
Yeah.
Not at 16s.
Yeah.
At this level, the things that you can control are the things that should not be the reason why you're losing a game. And that's exactly why we lost our second game.
Yeah.
That's why we lost
And
28-26.
I'm going to chime in on that really
Mhm.
quick. Yeah, Tampa United is our competitor because they're an amazing team, but the girls do get along and they do
Oh,
like each
yeah.
other. As a matter of fact, Emma, who is the setter for our 16 team, got a message from one of their players saying, "Great game, Emma." It shows classiness.
Yeah.
Correct.
That you're there to compete, but we are so happy for them when they succeed, and I think that the players
Yeah.
are happy for us. Do we hate
Yup.
losing? Absolutely, but that's part of
Who
competition.
doesn't?
Yeah.
Yes.
But
yes.
we truly respect the other team and the players on that
And
team.
it's funny that you said that because, like, when I was taking Emma to our team bonding moment, she was like, hey, one of them reached out to me saying how good of a setter I was. I said, isn't it nice to hear that? And she's like, yeah. I was like, I truly think it was one of their moms because they were in the right colors. Like, and who's going to sit there and watch a whole game if they're not a part of our team? Like one of the teams, and even gave us a compliment of like on the sideline.
Yeah,
it's just
nice.
It's one of those things that you hear, right? And like Katia says, it's like, yes, they are that, but
it's a respect.
It's a respecting. Like when they beat us in Gasparilla, like I said, they beat us in Gasparilla. They beat us upright.
Yeah.
Have a great game.
Every time we played them, we beat them 3 out of 4 times, but it could very easily have been the other way around.
Any other way.
I mean,
it goes to the nitty gritty.
Way.
And
they didn't make it easy for us to win a championship game in Ocala.
Yeah.
They didn't make it easy for us to get into gold in Ocala. Yeah. Like I said, and I said this on the last podcast, they are going to give their all. They're going to go down swinging. They're going to be playing hard like they always do. It's just we came up top on Saturday and we played our game, what we can do and what we can control. And that's night and day.
But at the end of the day on Sunday,
they didn't bring that.
But that is what part of experience is.
Correct.
And it doesn't matter how good of a player you are. Doesn't matter how many experiences you have. From every experience, whether you win or you lose, you have to get something out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they can remember that game on Sunday so they can make those adjustments when they get to that point. Again, whether it be at ASICs, whether it be at JOs, whether it be at AA Nationals, wherever they get into that situation, that they understand what needs to be done to win those points.
And on Wednesday, we had an amazing practice. We only had 8 girls at practice. Everyone played for outside rise, setter rise, right side rise, and they were killing it. They were putting their serves in. Katia was getting annoyed of just like, we got to get them off the court. We got to get them off the
they beat
court.
The crap out of my 15s. Yeah. Sorry, I love you 15s, but we were missing a couple too. But they played very well. They played very well.
We were missing 2 key players, and it was like they got it together. And then
which is going to be a very good point for our practice thing.
Yeah,
because when our teams practice together, it is an all-out battle.
Oh yeah,
it's an all-out battle.
The girls love each other, but they also love talking crap. They also love
and they
competing.
Do they love their
and then at the end of the day, it's like, you want to share this cookie after? It's stuff like that. But it was like Thursday's practice was absolute crap. We played like crap. We didn't do it, and I'm like, I don't understand how we go from Wednesday to Thursday, right? And we had practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm gonna clarify that. Just like we would play Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And then day 3, what do we start doing? Not playing the way we should play. We served the last 20 minutes of practice, and that's all we did. That's all they had to focus on.
Well, you're fresh on the first day. Start getting tired on the second day.
Yeah.
But you really got to pull through on that third day.
So you got to leave it all telling them, you guys got to focus on what we're trying to do. Your contact, your this, your location. That's all I'm asking you to do. This is why I try to tell them. Stop giving teams easy points.
Free points, yeah.
Those are free points. Those are easy points. Play hard. Do what you can do. Control what you can control. And everything else is going to just come into place. That's it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's what we did not do in Chicago. That's why on Monday when we got back.
And they played well. They played well.
They did.
But, hey, there's other opportunities, and that's what we're shooting for.
Yeah.
Look to the future.
We will get there. Yeah, it was obviously
tough.
It was sad, but look, fifth in USA in a tough field. I mean, that's still a great performance.
Yeah, and we weren't playing crap teams on Sunday.
Not at
it's not like
not at all.
Here's this team that can't pass or can't serve. No, we earned every point we earned on Sunday, and that's it.
USA and a qualifier is no joke.
I didn't have time to kind of cope with it on Sunday. It was more one of those things of I gotta ref, I gotta go grab my stuff in the room, I gotta grab my stuff, I gotta make it to the airport, and I gotta go home.
Yeah.
Right? But when I didn't work Monday, so when I woke up Monday, I was like,
it's reflection, and that's what good coaches do, though. Elise, if you reflect and you feel it, and I think every coach at FEVA does that, it means that you care. And whether parents see it or not, we reflect, we watch film, we spend so many hours outside of practice that we invest in the team. But you know, it'll never be enough, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Monday was rough for me. I'm not gonna lie. I had tears coming down my face. I
I-
didn't know how to stop the tears.
if
And then I come into practice on Sunday, and I know Davis can see this in my face. He's like, "How you doing?" I go, "You know,
it
the
wasn't
answer to
Monday.
that.
It wasn't Monday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday. I did not call you or text you.
No one bothered me.
I did
on
not. I
Monday.
left you alone because I knew. I mean, I was upset too. So that's the thing is, it's
And
funny.
when we say we're not upset, is upset in the being sad for
Yeah,
these
yeah.
girls. Like
Yeah.
we,
because they deserve it.
they do.
They're a
And I
great
told the
team,
girls,
yes.
I'm like, you can be mad, you can be upset, you could cry about it. You're gonna do that today. You're gonna do that tomorrow. But
Then we move
this
on.
week we're moving on, and then we got ASICs. We gotta go. There's
Yeah.
no dwelling on this,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Friend of mine, played in the NFL for the Buccaneers, and I used to talk to him, after a game.
Mhm.
A lot of times the fans would be like, "You guys don't even care," and he's like, "They have no idea." I said, "We take this loss so much harder than they do. It means so much more.
Yeah.
We prep a whole week for this one game,
Yeah.
and just because we're not going to visibly show the fans, it doesn't mean we don't care.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard, but we got to get right back up and do it again." And it's kind of the same thing with the coaches. The coach may not cry in front of the parents, like, but it could be devastating. Like I remember,
I remember telling Kate on Tuesday, and Kate's like, "How are you?" I'm like, "I'm still dealing with it. I'm still sad. Like I'm
Yeah.
still sad. I'm mad."
Yeah.
And I told her I'm not ready to coach today, but what do I have to do? My girls are here. We
do
have
it.
to go. And we have to do it. That's
Yep.
it.
And I'm gonna say one more thing about the serving, and I'm gonna let it go. And
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but this is my thought as a non-volleyball coach.
Yeah.
A missed serve on 3 to
Game.
4, I can live with that. But man, when you've just made a huge comeback, and the other team is reeling, the other team's starting to fall apart, and you sink one in the bottom of the net, it is just the most.
Well,
Yeah.
it gets to kids. It's hard.
It's
that
a mental
is-
game.
It is a mental game, and that, guys, these kids are 15, 16 years
Yep.
old. You have to understand that mental aspect of the game does not come to a lot of players until they reach the college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I was at UT, we had a lot of these drills where it was a mental game, and you don't
Yeah.
reach that.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
mental mindset
I
is
agree.
very difficult.
Katia's 14s team, they kind of went a little under the radar this tournament. And quietly, very quietly, they got their second Liberty bid
Mm-hmm.
in a row, in consecutive tournaments.
And not just second Liberty. I mean, we won both.
They won
tournaments.
it.
Yeah, won the whole thing.
So
Like,
got
it's not
first
like
place
they got a bid.
two
They won.
twice in a row.
Yeah. And this one they didn't lose. I think you lost one match the first tournament. You lost on day 1. You lost in 3.
Yeah. But this one we did not lose a match.
And I mean, they just were rolling. Like, I mean, I'll be completely honest. I feel kind of bad because I really didn't watch them much, because every time I watched them, they looked like they were just cruising. Like
Yeah.
I never felt like they
yeah,
were.
I mean, I sat down.
Yeah.
So
So there you go.
I'll tell you, if I sit down,
It's-
I'm feeling comfortable here.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you see me standing,
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable.
And
so,
not that they played perfect, because they obviously
No.
made mistakes,
No.
we're 14.
but they just felt like they were totally in control. Every time I watched it, they were just like, well, they're gonna win. They're gonna. They dropped a couple sets, but it was just like we're the better team. We're just kind of messing around, and
once we got that bid in Minneapolis, we
Pressure's off.
attempted to move up to
Yeah.
USA. So
Yeah.
we did email, because we see on social media, we hear parents sandbagging. Well, look, we tried.
the
We
second,
tried
the-
to move up to
the
USA.
It was not 30 minutes after you had won the bid in Minnesota. I had not already emailed Chicago saying, "Hey, can we go USA?" And so they told us initially, they're like, "You're number 1 on the wait list," and then they emailed back and was like, we do have a spot in 14 open, and we decided collectively that we were just
That might not be such a great idea to move them up to
Yeah.
open.
And again,
I mean, that's a big
because
ask.
this
That's
team,
a big ask.
mainly because this team,
They're fresh and new.
they hadn't even played. Besides
Yeah.
3 girls, they hadn't even played Liberty before. Like they were
Listen,
playing
yeah.
club in local
And
tournaments.
I know we
And-
talked about this like previously, how a lot of these girls haven't played
Yeah.
really in a competitive level like
So-
this. So like
so-
going from Liberty to Open is dramatic.
Yeah.
However,
However,
in hindsight,
yeah,
we made a mistake.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I told the parents too.
You own your mistake.
look,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I should have just taken them and put them in open. We already had our Liberty
let them
bid.
fight.
the experience would have been better. Who cares if we lost? The whole point is to get a faster speed of the game under our belt.
Yeah.
And we did not do that. And again, we're gonna put a note. Next time, it doesn't matter. If you
Doesn't
get a
matter.
chance to play open once you have a
Yeah.
Liberty bid or whatever, you go into
Yeah.
the next
And-
level because there's nothing that you can lose. You
Yeah.
can only get better.
Yeah, I think.
And that's
Yeah.
okay, you know. And I told the parents, and they were like, "Yeah, we agree too." But we're not afraid. At least when we make those errors, we're not afraid that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, we're human.
Yeah.
We didn't think that was a good idea at the time, but now seeing how we did, we should have absolutely done that.
Yeah.
So A6, are you in the national division?
Yes, once
You
you get a
have to
bid,
be. You have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you have a bid in American, as low as American Liberty USA, you have to. If you have an open bid, you can't even be in the tournament.
Yeah.
So our
Yeah.
13s got kicked out.
Yeah,
So
our
they're
13s got
out.
an open bid, so they got kicked out.
Yeah. So I mean, and I think that's what she said is really,
Are they
really.
not going to play up like we talked about?
No,
we
I
don't know
think-
yet.
yeah.
It's a work in progress. We're
Yeah.
not going to go there yet. But one thing that she said that I think is really important. I always talk to the director at Jordan's basketball club, and one day he asked me, he's like, how are you guys able to have grown so fast and been successful? And this is obviously not the only reason. One thing I told him is that we are not afraid to make a mistake or look for ways to improve.
Yeah.
We went from 27 teams to 34 teams. That's a huge improvement. I do think a lot of clubs would just be like, well, everything we did last year was perfect. We're going to do it exactly the same way.
Yeah.
All of us, but I will give her the majority of the credit on this. We are always looking for ways to improve. How
So-
can better tournaments? How can,
Yeah.
how
I
can we
do
make
have a
tryouts?
question though. It's so you guys said you have they told you we have the open. Like I know what I'm thinking as a coach of saying, hey, we have the opportunity to play open in Chicago. What was your mindset behind that?
Well, we just finished Minneapolis on a high, and so
Mhm.
it's very important. And again, these are teenage girls.
Yeah.
They're feeling wonderful. Their confidence is up. I was scared to put them in a situation where their confidence would drop.
Okay.
And so, it's kind of like a psychological move, really. You have to make sure that your team still feels confident and they know they can do it. And, getting beat down. And I think that we would have lost
Yeah.
significantly, but we would have also, I think, probably
Learned
pulled off
from
a
it.
couple
Oh,
of
yeah.
couple of wins, maybe gone, 1-2 the first day, but maybe we could have gone 2-1 the second day, or maybe
Yeah.
whatever, or 1-2 the second day. We could have had our wins. At the end of the day, I think that probably would have been more productive than going, 8 or 9-0 that
Yeah.
we did.
No.
And the only reason why I asked that is because like I'm just thinking of like other coaches hearing like what we're talking about, right?
yeah, you do have to keep the confidence up.
Yeah.
To a degree, and I think I was thinking of their, mental
like-
being, like their mindset at
Yeah.
the time, because they were feeling confident. So I wanted them to keep that confidence
And
going.
like you being a director and an owner of the club, right? It helps make that decision. Now, what if someone that isn't a director or owner gets a bid and they're in this situation? Are you still looking just?
I would do that. Yes,
yeah.
I would push them for the next one.
I think
I-
at this
I think-
point, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's a mistake that
think-
we made, but I think we're going to rectify it in the future.
which is
So-
awesome to hear. Like you're
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
hearing
Absolutely.
the feedback from
Absolutely.
your players and your club.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, we've made so many changes to our program year after year. I mean, we make drastic changes sometimes. I mean, sometimes it's little stuff like, hey, we're not going to do this tournament, or let's try this tournament. Let's do
Yeah.
that. We're always trying to, in regards to tournaments, we're still not perfect, but we're getting a lot better. Like
Mhm.
we've kind of figured out, okay, this out of
I don't
state.
think we'll ever not change something.
No. Yeah, but that's how you.
Someone
no
once told
one's
me,
perfect.
if you, no matter how old you are, if you are not willing to learn and change, then you are done growing. And
Yeah.
we can't.
Yeah.
You can't grow as a person. You can't grow as a club. You can't develop if you're not willing to change.
So kind of talking about some of those, changes. Like I said, there's some little changes, some big changes. Last year we made one huge change. We basically kind of revamped the entire way we train our kids.
Yeah.
And I think it's very unique. We're not the only person in the world that does it, but we're one of the few people that do it. Especially in Florida. We have. So, obviously our parents know, we call it our master coaching system. Our parents know about it, but I'm hoping for this they'll kind of get some, they'll kind of understand why we do it a little bit more and some of the benefits. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with Katia and kind of explain what the master coaching system is for those of us who've never heard of it, and then kind of maybe take us back to the origin of how you learned about it and how you decided to implement it, because that was a major change, and in my opinion, just
Yeah,
being completely
Davis was
honest,
not
I
on
was
board.
nervous. I was very
Not
nervous.
on board.
I was very nervous because, again, I always think about how the parents are going to take it.
Yeah.
This is going to be something they're going to accept, and it wasn't perfect. But I'm gonna let you take the
Of
floor.
course,
Katia.
you have to adapt to change, and I
Yeah.
don't think people realize that
Yeah.
sometimes.
So when you have a large amount of teams, and when I say a larger club, I would say that anything over 16
Yeah.
teams is a large club. We had
Yeah.
16 teams our
I
first
mean,
year.
you're ginormous.
So anything over 16 teams, I think is a pretty decent sized club.
Yeah, I think when you have 3 to 4 teams in one
So-
age group.
So Fernando
Yeah.
and I, of course, only coach 4 teams. So now we had, and I want to say we had 26 or 30 teams last year. It was difficult in the past. We coached our teams, and our teams did well. Our head coaches of our 1s and 2s also did well. However, what happened to our 3s, 4s, 5s, 6?
Mhm.
A lot of these coaches are newer coaches. They're great players. They understand the game, but like everything else, they need experience.
Sure.
There is nobody that gets to be better without having somebody give them the opportunity to be better and teach them that experience. So we were seeing that Fernando and I we were being spread thin. We were going to everybody's practices. We'd hit every team 2, 3, 4 times a season. Well, that's not going to help
Mhm.
with 2, 3, 4 times a season. And now we're in the gym every single night, hopping from gym to gym, trying to help out at the tournaments, and it just wasn't enough. So we started just doing some research. How can we contact or be a part of every team's training? And we looked into sports performance. Sports performance does a master coach system. There's 1, 2, or 3 coaches who basically run all courts. They have 2 teams per court, and they dictate the drills that are happening throughout the whole entire practice. They come in, they gather the kids, they explain the drill, they say the next drill, they focus on the key points of what we're trying to master in this drill, and then everybody goes to their court with the coaches. Master coach takes time. Everything is timed at our practices.
Yeah.
So master coach takes time. We go through it, and the master coach also goes to all those courts to make sure the drill is being run correctly. Those focal points are being, uh, pressed on. The coaches know exactly what's going on. Their cues are being dealt with, and we started that last year. People were very tentative.
Yeah.
We did it. Fernando and I, we looked up all our drills. We had our stuff, and we also hired Coach Michaela and Coach Brittany, who are our other 2 master coaches. So we have 3 gyms. We have 4 master coaches. We rotate. And what we have found is that parents always say this. If you go to this club, well, you can only get the first and 2 teams because
Right.
3s or 4s or 5s or 6s or 7s. Well, not in our club, because in our club, our top coaches not only have the 1s teams, even if they're not master coaches coach everybody.
Yeah.
So your kid, no matter if they're on the 7s or on the 1s,
Yeah.
they're going to be coached by a master coach.
Right.
They're going to be looked after. They're going to be given feedback. Now you don't have 1 coach in the gym or 2 coaches in the gym. You have 5 coaches in the gym.
Yeah.
The 4 coaches plus. And while your team is on, while the other team shags for that 3, 4, or 5 minutes of that drill, you have 2 coaches coaching your team.
Yeah.
Plus a master coach. So you're getting twice as much feedback, more one-on-one, more everything. And in my opinion, and based on our statistics, based on bids, placements in tournaments, seeing the kids, knowing everybody knows where to go, everybody knows their positions, everybody knows what red and blue are, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And so we've seen a huge change and the lifting of our training because of our master coach system. And now it's what it is. Now we don't have, I remember in our first couple of years, we had issues with coaches this coach is not doing this. Why doesn't my team know this? Why doesn't my team think
Yeah.
this?
Yeah,
Okay,
like
we're
I
gonna
could
go to
be
your
sharing
practice.
the
We're gonna go to
court
your
on
practice.
one side, and
Well-
the other side could be
Now we-
something else,
yeah.
and it you see one speed and you see another, and it
And it's
makes
also,
parents question
as
themselves.
someone who's had a child in a lower on a developmental type team, you can't help but feel like, hey, this is not fair. Why do they get the best of everything, and why do I get the brand new coach or the coach who's why do
Exactly.
I get that, and how is my daughter going to ever have the opportunity to make that top team if they're not given the same level of coaching?
But
Yeah.
now all the coaches know the drills. They know what they're doing. They know what they're called. I say, okay, we're doing Kyoshu. Let's go. You're here. You're here. We all know what Kyoshu
yeah,
is.
they know the
We know
feedback
what
they're supposed to be
crossfire is.
giving.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know what dig set means.
Mhm.
Down the line, cross court. They all know what that means because
Yeah.
they've already done it.
And I go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, one of the things that I also want to say about the master coaching is that, I always thought, oh, 2 teams on the court, that kind of sucks. There's just too many kids. Let me tell you, the amount of energy that is in the gym
Yeah.
when these kids compete in team drills or even just regular drills, you get so many more touches
Yeah,
because sometimes we have one team in because somebody went here or somebody's not in
Yeah.
town or a coach canceled the practice because they just got back from a qualifier. You get this, a gym with only 2 teams. I will tell you, it is boring.
It's boring.
It's boring. It's quiet. I have to ask all the parents to help shag. I can't run the drill effectively. We're not getting as many touches. It doesn't run with the intensity. It's slow. I don't like it.
It's funny that you
I don't
said that
like it.
because I
I
looked at my
just don't
schedule
like
this
it.
week today, and I was like, dang, me and Katia are only the ones on Wednesday, and I would really love a third team.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like she said,
Even a
it's,
third team.
it's just
yes.
effectively, whether you're doing things by group, by position, by team, by whatever,
Yeah.
it's effective. It's
Yeah.
fast. It's good. It's great
fast.
touches.
Yeah.
It's great feedback because let me tell you something, whether it's one coach, 2 coach, only if there's only 2, what's so bad about having a third or fourth
And at the
coach
end of
in
the
there?
day,
It's
we
not.
end up
You're getting
having
more feedback.
yeah, we end up having a scrimmage or playing back to back, and you've got kids sitting where you wouldn't have kids sitting otherwise. And so,
Correct.
and a lot of the times when you only have one, a lot of coaches always say, "Well, I always want 12 at my practice." How many times, once January hits, kids are absent.
They're hurt.
Kids
sick.
are, and we don't
Yeah.
even have 12 on our teams. We have
Yeah.
what,
I have
3
10,
teams, I
you
think,
have
or 4
11.
teams in our whole entire club that have 12.
Yeah.
We try to minimize it to 11 max, so 10 or 11. So we'll never have 12 on the team, which means if you're by yourself, who do you scrimmage against?
Yeah.
And how
Yeah.
are they playing against? And like I said, when we play
Yeah.
15s and 16s, it's an all-out war out there.
Even when your 14s are there, it's an all-out
It's
war.
an all-out.
Yeah.
I mean, Michaela's team, my 14s, they battle.
Yeah.
And that's what you need
Yeah.
to get that spirit up.
Yeah.
That you need the
I mean-
real competition.
Yeah.
It's a game changer.
And to
for us.
clarify one thing too, I know you didn't mention this, but it's not like we put our 11s on the same court
yeah,
as our
yeah.
18s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Let's
the
clarify that.
The 3
Yeah.
to, the
Yeah,
4
yeah.
teams that are in the gym, they're all of a similar
Very
skill
similar
level.
skill
So
level.
that there's obviously certain drills you can't do with one team or the
Yeah.
other, or you
Our
can't have
15-1, 16-1, 17-1, 18-1 would usually be in the same gym.
And that's honestly, the scheduling does come down to Katia, right? And but she takes hours looking to make sure every
hours,
day,
weeks.
Listen,
Yes.
the first
months. To be honest, when you
before-
when you put all that together, right? And I don't mean to interrupt you, but when you put all that together, she is making sure every single day we're in their gym, whether that's Monday through Saturday, Monday through Friday, whatever it is. Every team that's in there is competing against the team that's with them. At the end of the day, that's what she's doing.
Before we even had the master coach system, I spent one day trying to figure. I can help you with this practice schedule, no problem.
We can even give you
We
screenshots of how it
went
used to look.
No,
like.
we went nowhere.
I even had parents. I had 5
Yeah.
parents, and I'm going to give a shout out to Holly and Heather and Jackie, and I had a couple more. I'm probably not remembering, but even what's it called, Letitia. We all went in there. We had like 6 foot. Okay, these are the tournaments. These people have to be together. This person has a kid. This person has this. Master coach. You can only have master coach on 3 days. They're like, oh my
Yeah.
God, did you check this? Did you check that? Okay. And we had like waves. Okay, here's the schedule. Now you have to double check it and triple check it and quadruple check it.
Yeah.
It's madness.
Were
That's
you
what-
doing it
and
on
I-
your
I-
graph
It's
paper? Were you doing it still on your graph?
Oh.
I
paper?
have to do graph
100%.
paper because I need to erase. Okay, you guys can all laugh at me at this, but I am a pencil and
She is
paper
the
kind of
only
person.
person that uses graph paper.
Not
I'm
a plain
sorry.
white sheet.
It is.
No.
It
Graph
is
paper,
card
the
stock,
most
by the way.
slides.
It is card stock.
It's the best of the best
It's the
paper.
funny- It's like it's the crazy thing. Well, yeah, it's really 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 difficult.
It is.
And I think I always kind of laugh when you have a parent be like, oh, can you just switch us to this practice?
I love that.
It's like it's kind of an
that.
internal joke for us, and we don't get upset about it, but it's kind of funny. It's like, oh yeah, I wish it was that easy to just swap this
we had
team
a
with that
parent,
team.
I'm sorry, but my player is not going to be able to make it on Saturday. Do you think that we can just move it to Friday? You do realize we have 8 teams practicing on Friday.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that. So like I get like, Elise, why do you coach? You have to go coach 8 to 10 and you live like X amount of minutes away from the
3 hours away.
yeah, like whatever, Davis, but whatever. So I was telling her, I was like, well, one, I love it. But two, like I said, there's a whole system. They're like, why can't you practice at 6? Like the other teams, I'm like, oh, well, because I don't want my 16s killing an 11-year-old. Like,
Somebody's
it's
got to take that
funny,
late
it's
wave.
funny,
And just
like-
so parents know,
yeah,
if you have a middle school and elementary school kid, you're going to go from 6 to 8. And if you have a high school kid, you're going to go from 8 to 10.
Yeah.
I can't put an 11-year-old at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's
you
how it
can't do
works. 15s and up. And there are some times that we get 15s that go the early wave. But for the most part, they're going to go on the
yeah,
late
and
wave.
and I think another thing to say is that if you guys have the time to do a better time for other people, you're gonna
Absolutely,
do
we
it.
would.
but
And
like,
when we get our new facility, God willing,
Mhm.
we will try to start a little bit earlier so we can maybe end
that's
at
where I was trying to
9:30.
get at.
Absolutely, but that's just not.
It's
Don't-
just
Where it's
not
at right
feasible
now.
right now.
Don't say the F word yet. We're not. We're not.
That's,
we're not
that's
going to
why I
talk
didn't
about.
say it.
we're
I
not
didn't
gonna
say
talk
it. I
about
want
it
to
yet.
make
We're
sure
not
one
gonna-
of
we're
you
not gonna
guys
say
said
it
it
yet.
before I said it. But like
Yeah.
those steps, it's not that we don't want to do it, and that's what I want to make clear to our listeners, right? And people that are considering FEVA. It's just how it's working for now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're gonna
But I mean,
we're gonna
we
give
don't
many
have our facility,
opportunities.
and yet we are extremely successful. So
100%.
we've got to be doing something right.
Yeah.
Got to be doing something right.
Yeah.
We're doing things that people aren't doing with the facility.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it again a
you
lot.
know,
I'm the one who's usually the pushback guy, and I do think in
because he's
fairness,
Grumpy Davis.
no, but I think in fairness you have to have a pushback guy because if it's just
Well, he's the parent.
yes,
While
Yes.
I'm a parent as well, I've
You
always
coach
been
your
a
parent.
coach
Right.
first.
Yeah.
So I always look at what's best for training.
Yeah.
Davis looks at what's best for reputation or what it looks like.
Mhm.
You know, for me is, what do you mean? Why can't we do 3-hour
Yeah.
practices?
but I think that's,
No, because I'm like, so it's training. I have an extra hour of gym. Why not make it a 3-hour practice? Yeah, but it's not. I'm like, I'm just thinking, let me get these kids in more.
Yeah.
I always,
So-
it doesn't occur to me.
When,
know
when
what I
I
mean? What
see
it
a
looks
2.5 hour practice,
Yeah.
I'm like,
so much I want to say, but I'm not going to say.
yeah.
It.
oh my
But no, I think it's.
God.
But I think you
I
have.
understand.
I think we have to have that back and forth because there's been times where I think she's maybe gone over the edge and wanted to do too much or whatever, and I've said, "Oh, well, no, I can do that." And then other times where I've been like, "Hey, let's not do this," and we did it. Like again, master coaching system. I don't want to say I was against it, but I was very, very, very skeptical and nervous about it. I was, we're going to talk about tryouts in a minute.
yeah,
Again, another thing that I'm very skeptical about. I have learned over the years, and this was the original agreement. Volleyball decisions are ultimately all made by them. And I think that's the best way to do it, even though I have my opinions and I will state my opinions sometimes.
and like
very,
I
very
said
strongly.
before, you
I'm
guys
not
all have
even
your
allowed
role.
to take a picture.
Yeah,
Okay.
She's banned.
I'm not allowed to take a picture. So
But
that's
you
okay.
guys all have your role, and
Yeah.
I really do truly think each and one of your roles plays a significant of why FIBA is the way it is.
Yeah.
With I was texting you the other day, like we're a family for a reason, right? That's a culture that you guys set, right?
Yeah.
Do one of you maybe do it more than the other? Possibly, right? But we have a culture here. We have a standard here. And I think every one of you implement a different type of standard, a
And
different
I
type
think parents
that
know
culture.
that.
Yes.
So nobody texts me and asks, Coach Katia, can you post us on social media? We're
I wish they
"What-
would.
what-
That would be
oh, I don't even have
hilarious.
a picture of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so, but nobody calls and asks Davis, I want to know my child isn't playing.
Yeah.
No, nobody calls Davis.
It's
asking
true.
that,
I have
you know?
never had that question.
No,
I wish
but
I
I
would.
do.
Yeah.
Because
So-
I think, like I said, you guys set a role, you guys set
Yeah.
a standard, and people know who to go to in those type of
they're
questions.
they're figuring it out now
Yes.
because now everybody
Yes.
kind of knows. So even the newcomers come in, they just ask, "Hey, I have this question. You know what I mean? How can I do that?" So
There is a cuteness distraction in this building, by
There
the way.
is.
Leilani just walked in the door.
she's so
And so
Look
she's
at that
just like,
outfit. You see
yeah.
that? That's like summertime
I know.
outfit
This is-
right there.
The cuteness distraction is a real thing. But
Hi,
yeah, I
Lele.
think that's I think that is a really key part about us is how we are able to kind of, I think you have to have a pushback person, and I think
Yeah.
you also got to have someone that's out there is like, hey,
but it
let's
does
do
keep
this.
everybody in their lane, you know,
Correct.
and with
Yeah,
their knowledge.
checks and balances, right?
Yeah,
Like I said, I'm gonna give props to all three of you of how you guys do your job. Right now, you have Brittany coming in, and doing her part of the job, and all four of you guys do a great job respecting each other's roles, but not afraid to like
give an opinion.
give an opinion.
Yeah, there's
And maybe-
none
Maybe
of the
your
none of
opinion
the
might
four,
get
well,
to the individual.
Yeah.
Maybe it
Brittany
might
doesn't
not.
give
I
much
was saying,
opinion.
but the three of us, we've been doing this for 5
Yeah.
years together. Like there's nobody holds their
No,
tongue.
There's
Yeah.
way too many opinions going on around here.
Brittany
Too
is
many.
Brittany is still not there. Sometimes like Brittany will tell me after.
You're like trying to kick her.
Brittany will be like, "Oh, I agree
give
with
me a
you." I'm like,
feedback.
"Brittany, why didn't you say something?" She's
Yeah.
like, "Well, I don't think I should say something." Yes, you should say something. 'Cause
Yeah.
you gotta have my back here. But no,
Brittany, you see what he's saying? Like, you agree with him?
Brittany, you need
I
to
didn't
agree
You
with
do
Davis
not
more,
agree
I did
not
not-
Katia.
I did not say she agrees every time. I said there are times
Like
where she
1
agrees.
out of
Oh
100.
my gosh.
Listen, at the end of the day, I'm gonna say it on behalf of the coaches, and I think most coaches can agree is that you guys are doing a great job. We wouldn't still be here. You guys wouldn't have the success of and I'll let you guys speak upon next year about our coaches, but you wouldn't have the success of coaches continue to come back and not even
Yeah.
think of other clubs.
And I will give a shout out. This year is the first year because every year in the last 4 years, this is our 5th year. In the last 4 years, we've lost one coach during the season.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is not bad.
That's
This year,
huge.
first year, we have not lost a single coach during the season. And we typically lose one or two, not because they leave, but because they're moved or whatever at the end of the year. This year, we're only losing. And I love you, Coach Alexis. Coach Alexis is moving to South Carolina because her husband is in the military. But it is the only coach we are losing for next year.
I always believe that.
And that for me is amazing.
And that
Not a
again
single
is
other
what I'm
coach
trying
is
to tell
leaving.
you guys. You
Yeah.
guys are building a culture that people want to be a part of, and that people want success out of. Like, we respect what your feedback is.
Well, and I think that's a big thing is for us, for me, retaining our kids, retaining our coaches is the ultimate key to success. I mean,
Absolutely.
if we're just rolling through people in and out of the building, like,
No.
new coach, that's not sustainable.
It's
That means
absolutely
it's
not
not sustainable. So I think I'm really proud of that. I look at every year how many girls we bring back. And that's a very important part. Obviously you want to add. We always want to, improve and add
And we
kids
do.
and grow.
Every
and we
year
do.
we add phenomenal talent.
But yeah, I mean, I think despite my terrible planning of these these trips and the way I can't control blizzards, I think overall they stick with us.
we need to work
The
on
coaches stick with it, but
Yeah.
I will definitely work.
We'll
on
talk
that.
about that later.
Thank you all for joining us for episode 1. Stay tuned for episode 2, which will come out next week.
Which is on Coach Elise's birthday weekend. Hey. Okay. Sorry.
Tape, every story, every play, break it down on a daily, club dreams on a Tuesday. From the first ball toss to that fist that freeze, every dive, every drop, gotta take from Elise. Davis with the stats, he be talking that heat. From the bench to the bus, yeah, we bring it this week.